Little People, Big World. Matt Roloff shares big career news. Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Little People, Big World spoilers reveal that Matt Roloff is ready to share some big news when it comes to his career. Now that Little People, Big World is officially canceled, fans are concerned about what the Roloffs are doing to make money. Matt runs Roloff Farms, but has wanted to retire for quite some time now. His son, Jacob Roloff, has been helping him as much as possible. Now, Matt wants to show off his new money-making scheme with fans. Let's take a closer look at what he is doing now. For his age, Matt has been working hard on his pumpkin farm. He tried to sell the farm, but after not getting any offers other than his kids, he decided to try and make money as an airman. He continues to push new events at the farm, and with the help of Jacob, it looks like he is still making good money. However, it seems that he needed to expand his earnings just a little. A lot of the Roloffs have jumped into new careers now that the show is over. Tori and Zach Roloff have been working on their podcast, Raising Heights, and they continue to work on their social media presence. Amy Roloff has been working on her cookbooks and substitute teaching. With everyone pretty much done with television, what is Matt doing now? Matt may be enjoying life without Little People, Big World, and it looks like retirement is great for him. However, he recently filed his annual report for Roloff Properties LLC, and it looks like he still has an active business license. He still has some real estate properties and investments as well, according to this report. Is this how he is making money now? Do you think that Matt is renting out properties to make extra money or selling them? Is this how he stays afloat financially? We would like to hear what you think. We will also keep an eye on Matt and the rest of the Roloff family now that they are not on Little People, Big World any longer. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Little People, Big World right now. Come back here often for Little People, Big World spoilers, news, and updates. People, Big World have long since stepped out of the spotlight of weekly episodes, but remain in the public eye thanks to their strong social media presence and entrepreneurial lifestyle. The couple, known for their candid parenting discussions, marriage insights, and commitment to a wholesome, faith-filled life, recently announced one of the most joyful updates yet. They are expecting baby number 4. This announcement brings a new wave of excitement for their fans, especially those who have followed the Roloff family saga since its early TLC days. With 3 children already, Ember Jean, Bo James, and Radley Knight, the family is now preparing to grow once more. The news was met with widespread celebration, heartfelt congratulations from fans and friends alike, and plenty of curiosity about how Audrey and Jeremy plan to juggle a growing household, their entrepreneurial ventures, and life on the Roloff farm. The announcement. The big news was shared with the world through a classic Roloff-style Instagram post. Audrey posted a series of warm, golden-hued images with the family huddled together, kids beaming, and Audrey's growing baby bump on display. In her caption, Audrey shared their excitement with the same raw and heartfelt voice her followers have come to love. She spoke about gratitude, anticipation, and the journey that brought them to this moment, a journey full of joy, lessons, and grace. Jeremy, as always, mirrored her sentiment. Though often more reserved than Audrey on social media, his words carried the weight of a proud father ready to welcome his 4th child into the fold. The two made it clear that their family is growing not just in number, but in purpose, faith, and love. Though Jeremy and Audrey left Little People, Big World years ago to focus on their family and personal projects, they've remained influential figures. Their decision to step away from television was not taken lightly, but was a conscious pivot toward a quieter, more intentional life. They've spent the years since cultivating a brand around marriage, parenthood, and faith. From books like A Love Letter Life and Creative Love to launching their podcast and managing their blog, the couple have used their platform to advocate for intentional living. Their fans have watched their family grow from the early days of marriage to first-time parenthood, and now to a bustling household of 6. Each pregnancy has brought its own set of challenges and revelations, and Audrey has always been open about the physical, emotional, and spiritual elements of motherhood. Whether detailing the postpartum journey, her home birth experiences, or the dynamics of raising young children in the public eye, Audrey continues to share homes. Familiar to Audrey's followers, a mix of excitement, candid vulnerability, and a deep-rooted trust in God's timing. While the Roloffs have yet to disclose the gender, if they even plan to at all before the birth, Audrey has leaned into preparing for another home birth, something that has become important to her over the years. With each birth, Audrey has emphasized her desire to be in a setting that feels peaceful, safe, and empowered. She's written about the preparations involved in planning a home birth, the support of midwives and doulas, and the emotional journey that comes with surrendering to the process. For many fans and fellow mothers, Audrey's transparency has been both relatable and inspiring. She's also opened up about the physical toll pregnancy can take, from morning sickness and fatigue to pelvic pain, and the general chaos of managing multiple toddlers while growing another human. Through it all, she maintains an attitude of gratitude, often referencing her faith and the strength she draws from it. Jeremy has evolved tremendously in the eyes of his fans since his time on Little People, Big World. He's stepped up not just as a father, but as a husband who's deeply committed to building a legacy rooted in love, hard work, and faith. His dedication to Audrey, their children, and their shared vision for life has remained a central pillar in their story. Throughout Audrey's pregnancy, Jeremy has been visibly supportive, whether he's documenting home projects meant to improve their living space for a bigger family, reflecting on the responsibilities of fatherhood, or simply expressing his admiration for Audrey's strength. His thoughtful presence and willingness to share his own growth make him a compelling figure for fans who've seen him grow from a young reality TV personality to a grounded father of, soon-to-be, 4. Ember, Bode, and Radley are growing fast, and Audrey and Jeremy often share glimpses into their lives through Instagram stories and family snapshots. From bedtime routines to outdoor adventures on the farm, the Roloffs maintain a lifestyle that encourages creativity, exploration, and connection with nature. As their family prepares to welcome a new member, both Audrey and Jeremy have expressed a desire to keep things as grounded and intentional as possible. They've talked about setting rhythms and routines that support their children's emotional and spiritual development, as well as their own mental and physical well-being as parents. Adding a 4th child to the mix is sure to shift the dynamics once again. Audrey has reflected on the emotional bittersweetness of change, watching your baby become the older sibling, letting go of certain phases and stepping into new ones. But there's also the unmatched joy of a newborn, the expansion of love that somehow always makes room, and the deeper appreciation for the fleeting, sacred nature of each stage. Building their legacy. Audrey and Jeremy often talk about legacy, not in the sense of fame or wealth, but as a generational impact rooted in values. They speak openly about wanting to raise children who know their purpose, live by faith, and value family deeply. These ideals are woven into nearly everything they do, from their homeschooling plans and family traditions to their entrepreneurial efforts. They've often hinted that they view their family as a mini community. With each child, that community grows, and so does the vision for what it can become. Whether it's through family meals, shared work on the land, or nights spent reading and praying together, the Roloffs are crafting a family culture that they hope will inspire others to slow down and live more intentionally. Living on the Roloff property or close by has been a huge part of their lifestyle. Though there has been family tension over the years, particularly surrounding the division and sale of Roloff Farms, Audrey and Jeremy have largely stayed focused on their own path. They've worked hard to develop their own space, blending rustic charm with modern function to create a family-friendly home that can support their growing brood. Jeremy continues to take on various projects around the property, including gardening, building, and infrastructure improvements. Audrey often shares glimpses of their cozy spaces, hand-built furniture, and natural aesthetics. They've hinted at dreams of expanding their ventures, possibly welcoming guests to the farm, hosting retreats, or diving further into content that supports families and marriages. Faith as a foundation. Perhaps the most defining element of Audrey and Jeremy's life, and this pregnancy, is their steadfast faith. From the moment they started dating to now, faith has been the cornerstone of their relationship. Audrey regularly shares verses, prayers, and reflections, often tying them back to motherhood and her experiences. Throughout this pregnancy, she's continued to lean into that spiritual foundation, trusting that each challenge is part of a bigger purpose. She's shared about her fears, her moments of weakness, and her belief in God's timing, especially when it comes to family expansion and parenting in an increasingly chaotic world. It's not unusual to see Audrey pause to thank her community for their prayers, or to witness her encouraging other mothers to invite God into the birth room, the kitchen, the late-night feeding sessions, and the everyday moments that define motherhood. Navigating the public eye. Despite no longer being on television, the Roloffs are still very much public figures. With that comes a level of scrutiny that many parents don't have to deal with. Audrey and Jeremy have learned to balance transparency with privacy, often choosing what they share with care and intention. Audrey, especially, has been vocal about setting boundaries, especially when it comes to their children. Yet, they remain committed to their community of followers, believing that vulnerability has the power to connect, inspire, and transform. By letting people into their lives, even the messy parts, they hope to be a light for those walking similar ears. The final months of her pregnancy, anticipation is building. The couple has yet to reveal if they're planning a name reveal, gender announcement, or birth story in real time. But what's clear is that this new chapter will be shared with thoughtfulness and grace. The next few months will likely bring changes, surprises, and a whole lot of love to the Roloff household. Whether it's another home birth surrounded by family, a quiet few weeks offline to bond with their newborn, or another heartfelt reflection post, one thing is certain: Audrey and Jeremy Roloff are embracing tea. Youngest Roloff sibling has made it crystal clear he's glad to be done with it. Over the years, Jacob has distanced himself not just from the spotlight, but from the entire structure of mainstream reality TV, often referring to it as exploitative, misleading, and, at times, downright disgusting. His words might seem harsh to some, but for Jacob, they reflect years of discontent, personal growth, and a desire to redefine what it means to live authentically, away from the cameras, the producers, and the fabricated drama that often drives ratings. A childhood in the spotlight. Jacob Roloff was just a young boy when Little People, Big World premiered in 2006. The TLC series was a groundbreaking show at the time, offering audiences a window into the lives of Matt and Amy Roloff, both of whom have dwarfism, and their 4 children, twins Jeremy and Zach, daughter Molly, and youngest son Jacob. Viewers watched the Roloffs navigate family life on their Oregon farm, manage personal relationships, and run various businesses. But while the show was presented as wholesome and heartwarming, Jacob's memories of filming are far more complex. As he grew older, Jacob began to publicly criticize the show. He noted how editing often twisted real events into dramatic storylines, and claimed that moments were scripted or staged to fit the producers' narratives. While fans saw a close-knit family learning and growing together, Jacob increasingly felt like a pawn in a larger game designed for audience engagement and advertising dollars. He's even claimed that being on reality television robbed him of a normal childhood, something that shaped his growing resentment toward the industry. Breaking free. In posting lengthy captions about freedom, privacy, and authenticity. He criticized not just reality TV as a genre, but the broader. In one particularly revealing Instagram post, Jacob stated, "I've grown tired of the lies that are told about us for the sake of TV. I didn't sign up for this. Not really. I was a child. I didn't have a say, but I do now, and I say I'm done." That sentiment resonated with many who had suspected that not all was rosy behind the scenes of Little People, Big World. Calling out the machine, Jacob didn't just walk away, he walked out swinging. He's been clear in interviews and on social media that he sees the reality TV industry as fundamentally toxic. According to Jacob, reality shows like LPB prey on vulnerability, exploiting family dynamics and personal struggles for viewership and profit. He's expressed particular frustration with how producers would manipulate scenes for dramatic effect, cutting conversations, using reaction shots out of context, or staging events entirely. "It's all fake," he wrote in one post, and it's not just fake, it's harmful. It teaches people to lie. It teaches families to pretend. And it's all for someone else's entertainment. Jacob also takes issue with the financial structures of reality TV. Despite his years on the show, he claims he received very little compensation. Contracts signed when he was a minor locked him out of the profits, and he's been vocal about how young cast members in general are often left with little recourse or support. His outspoken criticism has made him something of a pariah in some reality TV circles, but Jacob doesn't seem to mind. If anything, he wears his outsider status as a badge of honor. A personal revelation. In 2020, Jacob made headlines when he publicly accused a former TLC field producer of sexual misconduct. The revelation was both brave and heartbreaking. In a lengthy Instagram post, Jacob detailed how the abuse happened during his time on the show and how he carried the pain silently for years. The confession not only shocked fans, but also revealed the darker, more insidious side of life behind the scenes. The Roloff family issued statements of support, and Jacob's courage was widely praised. But for Jacob, the public acknowledgement wasn't about attention. It was about healing, accountability, and exposing an industry that often hides its worst sins beneath the surface of cheerful, family-friendly programming. In the same post, Jacob emphasized how the experience further reinforced his hatred for reality TV. He wrote, "I do not expect to ever watch a single episode of LPB ever again. Disgust creeps in when I think about the lengths people will go to preserve a brand, a storyline, a false image. Building a new life." These days, Jacob Roloff lives a radically different life. He and his wife Isabel are raising their young son Matteo with a deep sense of intentionality. They live simply, often traveling, gardening, reading, and staying off the grid as much as possible. Jacob now works alongside his father Matt Roloff on the family farm, but he keeps his role strictly offline. He rarely appears in social media updates related to the farm or the show, preferring to remain behind the scenes. Jacob and Isabel have also become voices for social justice, environmental consciousness, and creative freedom. They frequently discuss politics, literature, and philosophy on their platforms, far removed from the surface-level drama of reality television. For them, life is not a performance, but a series of deeply lived experiences. It's a conscious rejection of the artificial world Jacob grew up in. Even when discussing parenting, Jacob is clear about the boundaries he wants to set. He's repeatedly stated that his son will not appear on television or in heavily curated online content. In a world where influencer parents often monetize every moment of their children's lives, Jacob's stance is refreshingly radical. He wants his son to grow up with privacy, dignity, and the freedom to choose whether or not to be public, something Jacob himself never had. A cultural critic. In many ways, Jacob Roloff has become something of a cultural critic. His views on fame, media, and consumerism are sharp and uncompromising. He believes that reality TV is a symptom of a larger societal illness, one that values image over substance, profit over ethics, and spectacle over truth. He's been critical not just of his own show, but of the entire ecosystem that surrounds and supports reality television. The network executives who prioritize ratings over well-being, the advertisers who bankroll manipulation, and even the fans who consume these stories without questioning their authenticity. "We have to ask ourselves why we watch this stuff," he once wrote. "What is it doing to us? What are we learning? And at what cost?"